Southerton. The sides met in front of 1,500 spectators on the tree-fringed Melbourne Cricket Ground. A misunderstanding over the match's starting time meant many supporters were waiting some time before play commenced at 1 o'clock. Curiously, the audience preferred to gather on the grass banks around the ground rather than the newly built grandstand, which members of Melbourne Cricket Club were especially proud of. It was a fine autumn day with warm sun and clear lights, so when he won the toss, Dave Gregory elected to bat first. Charles Bannerman and Nat Thompson of New South Wales came out to bat for the combined Australian team. Lillywhite set a standard field. Selby was keeping wicket and Southerton at slip. Alan Hill was cover point, Emmett at point, Jupp mid-off, Armitage mid-on. Lillywhite himself was at short leg, Charlwood deep square leg, Ulliott long on and Greenwood over the bowler's head. England's Alfred Shaw stepped forward to bowl the first ball in Test match history to Australia's Charles Bannerman. The second ball saw Bannerman score the first run. Alan Hill went on to bowl the first maiden over. Then, in the fourth over, Hill bowled Nat Thompson to claim the first wicket in Test match history. Charles Bannerman was one of several in the Australian team who was English born, having arrived in Australia at the age of 2, just in time for the birth of his younger brother Alec, who would also go on to play cricket for his country. Charles had not scored many when he presented a chance to mid-off, but it was missed by Tom Armitage, striking him in the stomach. In fairness to Armitage, he was still recovering from events in New Zealand, which included an episode where a horse-drawn carriage he was travelling in could not cross Uttira Gorge, and he had been left to carry a female passenger across waist-high water. Exhaustion from seasickness meant he could barely stand on the morning of the match. But his misfield meant Bannerman had been given a life, and England would come to rue the wasted opportunity. Bannerman began to bat with freedom, while Tom Horan concentrated on defence. At 30 for 1, Lillywhite instructed his bowlers to change ends. After bowling the first maiden and taking the first wicket, Alan Hill took the first catch in Test cricket. Tom Horan played a back-foot shot to a short ball from Alfred Shaw, which found Hill at third man. Horan was out for 12 and Australia were 40 for 2. 1 run later and Dave Gregory suffered the first run out. After taking a single off Alan Hill, he came back for a second, but failed to make his grounds. An hour had been played and the combined team were 41 for 3. The luncheon interval followed. After lunch, Bransby Cooper joined Charles Bannerman at the crease, becoming the first Indian-born cricketer to play in a Test match. Raised in England, Cooper had previously played for Middlesex and Kent before settling in Australia. Alongside the free-scoring Bannerman, the experienced Cooper achieved the first half-century partnership in Test cricket. George Ulliott, who'd had no success since replacing Alan Hill, was swapped for James Southerton. When Bannerman scored 2 fours in an over off Alfred Shaw, Lillywhite decided a change of tactics was in order. To this end, he brought on Tom Armitage, who attempted to confuse Bannerman with a series of underhand lobs. Armitage sent a full toss far over Bannerman's head and a wide was called. He followed this with a grubber rolled along the ground, to the mirth of the crowd and indeed Bannerman, who took 10 runs from his opening over. Lillywhite relieved Armitage of bowling duties and brought himself on. Australia had passed 100. Bannerman and Cooper put on 77 for the 4th wicket, when Cooper was clean bowled by James Southerton for 15. Southerton might have been 49 years old, but he had taken 100 wickets each English season for 10 consecutive years. His slow left-arm bowling was proving effective in Australian conditions. The combined team were 118 for 4, and in at 6 was Billy Midwinter, who struggled against Lillywhite. He then attempted a big hit off Southerton and was caught on the boundary by Ulyett for 5. The score was 142 for 5. Despite the fall of wickets, Charles Bannerman continued to score quickly. He was next joined by Ned Gregory, the brother of captain Dave Gregory. Ned would later become curator of Sydney Cricket Ground and inventor of the modern scoreboard to be commonly used in Australian cricket grounds. Ned Gregory faced Lillywhite and went on the offensive with a straight drive. But it fell to Greenwood at long on, meaning that Ned Gregory became the first Test match batsman to be dismissed for a duck. It was 143 for 6. In came Jack Blackham, Australia's wicketkeeper, whose cross-bat style caused indignation amongst the purists. But Australia passed 150 and Lillywhite replaced himself with Tom Emmett. It was then that Charles Bannerman passed 100. Becoming the scorer of the first ever Test match century, to the applause of the crowd. At the close of play, Australia had reached 166 for 6, with Bannerman accounting for 126 of those runs. Jack